Hello, everybody. I am very happy to have you back for another episode of Game Trail Pursuits, the podcast. I can't believe that episode 4 is already here, but I wanted to ensure that I had some content to put out immediately. That way I could put my name out there. I would also be able to start gaining somewhat of a following. And in doing all this, I have given myself some wiggle room to start planning more episodes, writing the scripts, and asking some of my friends to join for an episode or two. I've had all of them take a listen to the show and give me some feedback, and for the most part, it's been nothing but good. So, I feel like I'm doing something right. But what I wanted to tell you is I have a lot in store coming. I can officially say that I have a guest coming to the show pretty soon. So with that, I figured I could also give you guys a little insight of what's to come. My good friend Cody will be on the show. He is the unnamed friend in my first episode when I was telling you about my first duck hunt. I would say he is very experienced in hunting and fishing, and he has so much to offer when it comes to teaching. To him, it's more than just a hobby. It's a means of providing for his family, hanging out with friends, and enjoying the beautiful outdoors. This man has genuinely taught me everything I know. And anytime I have a question, he is the individual that I go to. His humor is unmatched by anyone I know, and I just can't wait for you guys to meet him. I think we have a great episode, coming your way. But I know I'm going to have a lot of questions to ask him, and that episode will mainly focus on him and how he got into hunting and fishing. And, so another thing is, I know I've said that this channel involves hunting and fishing, but he is the one to talk to about fishing. So for all of you who love fishing, here it is. And thank you for being patient. Now, now that you guys have a little taste of what is to come, I wanted to talk a little bit about preparation. So, I wanted to delve into the idea of the preparation phase because that is by far the most important part of any hunting or fishing trip. So, I'm going to give you guys three or four of my, top things that you need to do in your preparation phase. So the first thing is your scouting. And I'm sure every hunter you knows that you need to scout and scout all the possible areas you're going to hunt. I would say if you have the time, take about a month to just kind of watch and see what these animals are doing. Like, is this a place that these animals frequent? Do they only show up every so often? When they do, is there a lot? Like, is there a big herd, or is there only just one little doe that walks by? Um, it has been a while since I've done a big game hunt, but I remember going with my grandpa weeks in advance to the area we were going to elk hunt. We would sit and just watch the activity of the herds. We would look at tracks and scat and even the wind direction. Like, we took a lot of time in the preparation phase than I think we honestly did in the whole hunt itself. So I think if you have the time, you need to scout for sure, you know. Um, Number two, I would say you need to plan your hunt. So when I say plan, you already had the plan if you went scouting. But what I mean is like check the weather for those times that you're going to be out hunting because I remember one year when I went elk hunting, it was my grandpa, my uncle, myself, and a couple others. Um, it was third season elk in the dead middle of winter. Uh, we went out and we must have hiked in probably 2 miles away from the truck. My grandpa and I sat down by this old tree, and my uncle sat on a stump on the side of the hill. Well, we went out for the afternoon hunt, so it was slowly getting dark, and like I said, it was the dead middle of winter. and the snow started falling. Within 30 minutes of the snow, or yeah, within 30 minutes of the snow, it was so thick that you couldn't see 10 feet in front of you. Within an hour, I'd say you better start praying that you find your way out. Um, so my grandpa and I, we decided that we were just going to call it for the night. And we began making our way towards that stump that my uncle was on. Well, my uncle was nowhere to be found. We tried to follow the footprints left behind, but the snow was so thick and it fell so fast that it covered the tracks after about a couple steps. We spent a couple of hours looking for my uncle and we decided to make our way towards the truck. That way we could just call for help. But on the way towards the truck, we seen footprints again, and we followed those off the trail for I'd say probably a mile. But also, I was also 11 years old, so it could have been a lot less than that. But we did eventually find him, so you know, that's great. But the moral of that story is plan for weather, and stick with your party. There's a lot more that goes into planning. You know, how long are you going to be out? Do you have enough food? Look at a map, see the area that you're going to be hunting, and kind of familiarize yourself with, like monuments and little, things like that. Is it like, especially if this is a place that you haven't been to, in the past, like really familiarize yourself with the area. Um, I would say another thing is enjoy your time, because I know a lot of people who they go out hunting and they spend a whole week out on their hunt, and when they come back with nothing, they're very discouraged. So I don't know if this is a good mindset to have when I go hunting, but I do not have the mentality that I'm coming home with something. When I first started, I can say that was probably my mindset, and I think that played a part in why I couldn't necessarily get into it. But as I've grown and got back into this, I don't have that anymore, and I enjoy every hunt, you know. But I go hunting because it's fun for me. It's something that I can do. And when I get to go out with my friends, that is a feeling like no other. When we can just sit back and talk about things we don't normally talk about, it's amazing. And if we walk away with something, that's a plus, and it just adds to the fun. And all the memories that are made are worth more than anything I could ever ask for. So, don't go out with the mindset that you're going to get something and you're walking away with it, because that's not always what happens. So, last but not least, I would also say try new things. I also have a few friends who they only know one type of hunting or fishing, whether that's just deer or elk, or my friends who only like to catfish. I think it's good to be comfortable with what you know, but do not be afraid to try something different. Change is good, and you never know what you might find that may catch your interest. For me, all I knew was elk hunting. And if I hadn't tried duck hunting, I wouldn't have fallen in love with it. And, I'm very happy that I've been able to try new things. I'm comfortable with that. Um, Now, another thing, I used to be the typical worm on a bobber guy, right? And that's what I felt safe doing. I felt like I always caught fish doing that, but now it's very small, but I love using spinner baits and poppers. And I know when I learn new things, I want to perfect it. And I want to go out and catch my, I want to go out by myself and catch that big fish off my spinner bait. And I want to show all the people who taught me. And to me, I feel like it's just that respect of I couldn't have done this if it wasn't for you, you know. And so another thing is I'll always tell you guys, I am no professional and I never will be, but I will always strive to do the best that I can. So go out there and get out of your comfort zone because you never know what you may learn you like, right? Um, so another thing too was I learned that after taking some time to, listen to the episodes that I've released already, um, detail is important. So we're taking a sharp turn real quick, but I know that detail is important. So, uh, I imagine my audience is for the newer hunter, right? Someone who's just now getting into hunting. Now, if you're a experienced hunter listening to this, I would appreciate your feedback. You can send that to me on, my Facebook page, my Instagram page, be happy to, message me. I happily would like to check those. But if you have any, tips or anything that you could teach me, like please do. And anyway, for like those, the newer hunter, I'm really going to make sure that I kind of do a little more research and explaining things better. I don't think I've led you wrong, but I also know that I can work a little harder on explaining things better and going more into detail. So that's something that I'm going to work on. And I feel great about it and I look forward to doing that. So just be ready for that. I am going to take a little more time to sit back and really think about I'm really going to think about how I can teach you to be better or, that next generation of hunters and fishermen. I'm sorry. All right, so let's get into this little topic real quick. So this channel is, like I've said, multiple times. This is a channel for hunting and fishing, but right now we're getting really close to a lot of the hunting seasons. So, um, a lot of what I'm going to be talking about is hunting based. So, it's not that I'm forgetting about it. It's not that I don't like to talk about it. I'm not the greatest fisherman ever, but like I told you guys, my buddy Cody's going to come on. He's going to talk a little bit about that too. So I'm very excited about that. Um, so yeah, I think that this just about wraps up this episode. And I know it was a shorter one, but I really hope you enjoyed listening to this one. I honestly think I spent more time on this episode than any other at the moment, and I feel more prepared. I feel like this episode was more of a success, and I now know how I should go about these episodes. Once again, I just want to thank every single one of you for listening in because I couldn't do any of this if it wasn't for you. I hope that you have a great rest of your day or night. And as always, take care.